Thank you so much for this opportunity. Now, just to briefly talk about what exactly we built, right? So it's an online dispute resolution that the entire process happens in a manner with limited efforts and from the comfort of your homes and offices. So 24/7 digital access. The vision was to ensure that there is access to justice and that is done digitally from the comfort of people's houses, and that's exactly what we've been able to do. It's a completely sustainable approach. You don't need any paperwork to be involved. All the documents stored on the platform. Is as a service mentioning that even in the remote areas, if parties would have to come and participate and come to court for them to do so as compared to them doing this from the comfort of their homes. That's exactly what we've been able to do. In terms of recognition, we've been enlisted by the Ministry of Law and Justice as an ODR. We were the first ODR institution to even get recognition and empanelment by the Bombay High Court. Justice Karan was there a few minutes back, and he spoke about how Bombay High Court has embraced this, and we've been able to see a great success when it comes to how online mediation has worked and when we happening traditionally. And that's what led to even the high in this fact, and we were able to conduct a judicial training for some of the judicial officers. We expected about 100 or 200 to join because this was a voluntary training which was given. And we were surprised, rather shocked, that there were more than 3,000 judicial officers who were part of this training. This got a lot of media attention. A lot of other district legal services authorities also started reaching out to us. They realized that this is a problem which is massive, and if a platform like this could help, it would really ease the burden also. So that's something that we've been able to do in terms of the panel of mediators. We've been able to get a diverse panel. It's not only people who are practicing advocates, but even chartered accountants, even engineers, surveyors who are a part of our esteemed panel at the moment. And we have a very stringent policy to panel mediators. There's a test or entire criteria for you to be empaneled. But once you get empaneled, you are able to get a lot of cases, and this is not only from the courts, but even from private mediations that have been happening through our platform. Also, when it comes to policy, jurisprudence, Sir has spoken about how ODR has really been embraced by so many other stakeholders, regulators, businesses, and that is something that we played an active role in creating that excitement, that jurisprudence around ODR, and we've been able to deal with a lot of policymakers to ensure that this moves forward. Now, when it comes to process, right, like how exactly ODR works. So a lot of people do have that confusion that probably ODR would be just arbitration or mediation done online. So a Zoom or a WebEx would do. Why is it that you need a platform? But that's not the case. That's just one of the applications which can actually help in engaging communication. But before that, there's a lot of things where automation takes place, where there is use of artificial intelligence, there is use of various technologies that ensures that the ease of onboarding and the transformation happens very simply. So typically, when it comes to the process flow, any disputing party, they just have a simple form which can be filled on the platform. Once the form is filled, the appointment of mediator happens automatically. Now, this happens on the basis of certain parameters which have been laid down. Parameters are, of course, on the basis of number of experiences, the kind of background the mediator has, the subject matter expertise that the mediator has, and accordingly the mediator gets assigned by the platform. There is an established communication flow which is ensured between the parties. We have integrated WhatsApp, email, SMS. We've also integrated IVR calls. We ensure that IVR calls go in different languages. So depending upon which state the person is from, the language can be selected at the time of registering your dispute, and accordingly an IVR call will be going to that particular person to ensure that they understand what the mediation process is all about. When it comes to, of course, the entire focus of building this platform is to ensure that there is amicable settlement that takes place through our platform, and that has been the focus area so far. When it comes to the pre-institution mediation, right? So, as I mentioned, we as an ODR platform are impaneled by Bombay High Court, and we've been able to see 100% success rate until the recent past, where there were few cases which led to failure. And that's where we've seen an 80% success rate so far with all the cases that have been referred to us. If I just speak about the numbers, traditionally, if it would have been done, the numbers are in 55 to 60% range. So they've definitely seen that the success rate has gone up. The participation has been much more as compared to offline. Now, what are the features, right? So, as I was talking about earlier, and it's not just video conferencing which is done online. So, we also ensure that at every step, every communication that happens through our platform, there is real-time tracking. The mediators are able to see when the particular invitation to mediate or a document which was uploaded, when the person has actually read that email or read that WhatsApp. If there is any response that comes to us, that also gets auto-triggered on that particular case in the dashboard. So that's where they are able to see that on a real-time basis, the case status is updated. There is speech-to-text, feature which is configured. Now, again, why this is important? Because a lot of people who may not be very comfortable in actually typing out what exactly is the dispute about, or there are times where emotions are involved and they would not be able to really use that as a facility. This option is also available where they can just record their message automatically. And again, even if it is done in different languages, there is auto translation which is available on the platform, which can be easily used. There are templatized formats, especially for mediators. So there's a lot of admin related work for mediators, which can also be automated. That's where they've been able to see the ease when it comes to conducting mediations online. Smart negotiation chatbots is something that we are building on. We are at a beta phase right now. We've seen that with some private mediations that has worked well, especially when there are pre-approved offers which an enterprise would have, and the other party would be able to participate in that. The entire process, as we mentioned, because it is sustainable, it is because of the fact that there is e-signing, e-stamping facilities which are also integrated into the system. You don't really need to, even if it is a settlement or if it is a failure or if it is a non-starter, it's not that you need to actually take a printout and then put up your signature. You can do this all via the platform digitally. Now the benefits, I think this is something that all of us have already spoken about. A lot of other dignitaries in the previous sessions have also mentioned the fact that how if we use technology, we are able to ensure that there's more participation. Even people from remote locations are able to access the platform. That makes it even better for us to ensure that the digital access to justice, the vision that we have, we are able to take that forward. We also ensure that there are automated and regular reminders that keep going to other parties. There are features where even if the parties would want to share a document only with one of the parties or maybe only with the mediator to ensure confidentiality, even that option is available. Just have to click on the name of the party or the mediator and click on send. You can bulk download multiple documents. You can bulk send multiple documents. You don't need to individually do it if that is the case. So all those features are also built in. I think eventually what this would really do is how we can reduce the pendency. That's the focus of this entire scheme, which has also been building with your leadership, sir. And that's exactly what we also envision, that how we can reduce the pendency, how we can work together with courts to ensure that there is more acceptability for ODR. Now, again, one more thing when Mr. Panchu mentioned about success stories. I think this is something we genuinely believe that should be spoken about. I think the first one, Justice Kannan already spoke about. We were fortunate enough to have him as a mediator in that case. And this was a case where the lawyers were not even expecting the parties to participate because of the fact that how the case was so complicated that though it was just a prerequisite because due to the PIMS rules, you have to go through pre-institution mediation. It was just a tick mark which they wanted to do, which was clearly stated to us. But just one, the first meeting, so again, some of the dignitaries mentioned about pre-mediation, conversations or counseling. In this particular case, that is exactly what happened, and it happened with the lawyers. So it is extremely important that the role of lawyers is really appreciated, and I'll be absolutely frank, right? I mean, in all my conversations, whenever we speak about mediation, it is somewhere, we have become a little cynical when we talk about the lawyers being involved. But in our experiences, if 80% is the success rate, what we've been able to see for all these pre-institution mediation, one of the major credit goes to the lawyers. The way they have gone about this entire process, the way they have gone about educating their clients, and that's what have really brought parties together to settle it out. So in this, Justice Kannan already mentioned that the party was in Taiwan, the other party was in Mumbai. He was based out of Chennai, and within a span of 2 months, the matter was settled. And now what we are also doing to ensure that there's more transparency, more acceptability, we are also taking video testimonials of all our enterprises or of people who have used our platform for mediation, because that's what will build more credibility. It will give the confidence to the parties that yes, this is working out and you don't need to come to a place, a common place to actually resolve your dispute. Again, another commercial dispute, approximately the value of 31 lakhs. One party was in Mumbai, other was in Rajasthan, and the mediator was in Lonavala. The mediator was actually, because of the lockdown being there, was in Lonavala, and she could not really make it to her actual place of residence, but yet the mediation did not stop. And even during the lockdown, we were able to see that the parties were able to come to an amicable settlement. The third and final one, which I thought would love to highlight, is the fact that it's not only when there are just two parties where mediation really works out. There were complex cases which were also being referred by the courts, which have empaneled us. And even in those cases, we were able to see that if there were multiple parties which were being involved, and the mediator was based again out of a different city altogether, they were able to get through the settlement. So the whole point about lawyers being involved, I absolutely concur with every single person who mentioned out here that how they play an extremely important role. And we've been able to see that in our cases which have been referred to us. And another thing, what we are doing with the judicial trainings that we are doing. So after the Bombay High Court, we got this opportunity with the Madhya Pradesh High Court, where we conducted this training again. 500 judicial officers participated in that. What is happening is that the awareness is being built. More and more lawyers are now reaching out to us to get empaneled with us. They are needing training for getting into mediation as well. And that is something that one of the aspects which we really wanted to explore, that how can we have partnerships with training organizations and these advocates or lawyers who are really interested, how can we ensure that we build a bigger and better pool of mediators? So that is something that I would love to highlight. Lastly, the collaboration, I think we already mentioned that there are different ways in which we can collaborate. One, of course, because of our platform being there, it's already built. The mediators who are being assigned these cases can use our platform. The other option is where the institutional mediation services can be used, because we have an entire setup. We have our own mediators who are empaneled with us. And the third option of, the number of cases are only increasing which are coming to us, right? Even from private mediations as well as the court annexed mediations. And if we are able to get more and more interested advocates to participate, to get empaneled with us, we'll be more than delighted to have this as an opportunity to engage with them. And then the final thing, if we can do a similar judicial training for the judicial officers of Kerala High Court, we'll be extremely delighted to take that conversation forward. So that's it from my side, and I'll be happy to address any questions.